Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all fantastic. On today's video, we're on firmware 18.03 on the Axe FX3. I don't have any real plan for this other than I'm going to start out in high gain land. Let's begin with the 5153 100 watt blue. I just want to go through some high gain amp models that I haven't really featured on the channel recently. So this one is pretty much at stock settings. I've just brought the level up to -9 instead of the stock value of -12. I'm using my go-to LT TV Mix 7 cab, low cut at 80 Hertz, high cut at 8K, and you can see I've got the preamp type. So this is the mic preamp type in here, set as a transformer, high quality, little bit of drive, bunch of saturation. Back here I have the totally flat IRs in stereo with a bit of tape saturation. If I want to add that, if you haven't seen my last 5-minute tones video, you can check out the reasoning behind this right there. So let's just hear this one at stock settings. Hamer standard in drop C. This is a Duncan EVH pickup and a Jazz in the neck. Okay, totally stock settings, not too bad. Let's just do the metalcore thing and put a Maxon OD808 model in front of it. Tone and level all the way up, drive up just a little bit. That's pretty sick right there. It's really cool with the precision drive as well. Wrong chord at the end, but whatever. The other one that's awesome with any of these high gain models is actually in the preamp tab. The CC boost is really good. For more of a kind of 80s lead style thing, but the grinder boost, bring the boost level up and maybe bring the gain down on the actual amp. Awesome, that one brings the chunk massively. You can of course use a good old multiband compressor as a dynamic EQ trick after the cabinet in here. The idea being you set the crossover between about 90 and 350 Hertz, you turn the low and the high band off by bringing the threshold all the way up, and then you just kind of dial in a little bit of attack and release, a so-called anti-sneak trick, and this will just tighten up those palm mute. If you want more of a genty thing in there, I'll just bypass it for now. What's really cool as well is turning on this kind of tape saturation thing as well. Let's hear it off and then on. I know I look like a maniac with 2 cab blocks in here, but trust me. That's pretty wicked. And again, I haven't even touched the bass, middle, treble, or the master on the actual amp block. Just a bit of a boost, bit of tape saturation or multiband afterwards, and it's really, really fun. So next, let's go to channel B. Here's one I prepared earlier. Recto 1 Red. I've just turned the master volume down a little bit, and I have turned the level up here. There's no boosts just yet. This is kind of instant, like late 90s, early 2000s nu metal. Just play some add 9 chords and you get this. So doing the Recto thing there, I kind of like to just turn bass, mids, treble down a bit, bring the presence up on this, and you guessed it, we're going to put the grinder boost on, smash the boost level up, bring the actual amp drive down a little bit, and now this is a totally different beast. It still has that like Tyrannosaurus Rex low end going on, it's just a lot tighter. Stuff like that, again, it's just instant late 90s right there. One thing you can do to kind of emulate that like spongy mode on there that I've found is go to the, where do we go? The power supply, turn the supply sag up and set the variac to about 75%. You need to compensate with the level a little bit, but this feels really, really good. If you like the Recto thing, I know it's a very divisive thing. It's like the Vegemite of guitar tone, but I like it. And I like Vegemite. You know, it's given me that King's X Dogman vibe in a massive way, which I like out of rectifiers. Next, what do I have next? The Archean Bright, so based on the PRS Archon. It's kind of an interesting one. To me, this one is fizzy sounding, but it's also really squishy feeling under your fingers, so might have to dial this one in a little bit more. You notice this headroom parameter isn't getting anywhere near 0, so I'm going to pull up the master volume a little bit, compensate by bringing the level down. I just kind of want to push the power amp section a little bit on this one. It's interesting, it's got its own thing going on. Again, kind of a weird one, but to me there's a lot of mid-range in there, not necessarily a bad thing. I just want a little bit more spice out of it, so I might bring the presence control up. Not bad, I think we should boost it. Should we do the precision drive? Let's try it. That's kind of interesting. I don't mind the way that's changing the overall kind of tone. Let's try the 808. Interesting. I kind of want to try maybe the let's try a different input boost on here. Let's try the shred boost because it shreds. I'm thinking this is more of like a kind of lead amp for what I would like. Gives me a little bit of a Mark Tremonti Alter Bridge vibe. Let's slap some delay on that because I want to go all out. Maybe we'll put a bit of reverb on there so it's not so dry. Zephyr delay with a left-right time ratio at 75% is pretty much good out of the box for what I like, and we've still got that tape saturation on, but it's in stereo, so I can add a reverb before it. Let's just do the London plate. Oh, let's do something different. Let's do the chorus hall. I'll just bring the mix down a little bit. Let's have a listen to this now for a lead thing. That's rad. Okay, Archean Bright as a lead amp. I need to use that on a little bit more stuff. That one's pretty fun. What do we have next? Fryette D60 More. So this is based on the Fryette Deliverance. I've never played a real Deliverance, but I have the Synergy Syn 2 and Syn 5050, and there's a Deliverance module, and the Deliverance module is one of my favorite modules. So this is a really great rock amp at stock settings. Really cool, but it can get so nasty. So pull a bit of mid-range out, bring the treble up a little bit, we'll bring the overdrive up. The low end sounds pretty good to me, so let's hear it. This is with no boosts. Kind of liked it with the depth back up. What I'm going to do is just back off the master a little bit. Again, we'll watch this headroom, bring the level up a little bit. That is pretty cool if you don't want to boost it, but I always want to boost it. So let's bring the treble back a bit and we'll do CC boost on this one. I think this is going to sound pretty awesome. Very cool amp, the old Deliverance. Tightening up that low-end chugga-chug stuff with the multiband is pretty rad. And I'm finding I'm liking all of these with the tape saturation thing on there, so it stays on. Let's flip over to a different amp. What's this? Friedman HBE V3. You can kind of see a lot of these start to sound similar. Like, I think I just have a sound in my head when it comes to high gain stuff, but V3 stock settings. right, so very smooth Marshall style thing there. A really good trick if you don't want to use a boost is to use the cut switch in the preamp tab. This is just a, which way around is it? It cuts low end, so it's a high pass filter at 120 Hertz. This is giving me such an 80s vibe, so I'll move the delay over and let's go to the blocks library. I'm going to bring up these Eventide detunes that my buddy Nicholas helped me match. Well, he did all the work. I've just got them in here. I've got the hardware unit. We measured it. There's a video about it. Let's get some grease on with the delay as well and the reverb. Why not? Why not? Live on the edge. So that one's up there with the Archean for a really lovely lead amp. And again, really don't have to do too much. I just kind of boosted the bass on here because what I've seen for like the Friedman BE is the actual manual recommends you start with the bass up high. So I think Dave Friedman knows what's up, so I'll trust his ear on that one. What's next? What are we gonna do? Let's turn this detune off and the delay off. Let's go to channel B over here. The Cornfed. This one is really cool if you like your Recto thing, if you like your Friedman thing, and if you like your Soldano thing. This to me kind of sits in the middle. I think it kind of leans towards a Soldano style thing. It actually sounds a lot like my Soldano Hot Rod 50 Plus. So yeah, Cornfed MK50 as used by like lots of stuff. I used to read Guitar Techniques magazine back in the day and they were always raving about this amp. And I think now the guy who did Cornfed does Victory. So yeah, kind of awesome. You can hear a motorbike. That's not mine. That's just someone hooning around the neighborhood. You can hear a little bit of that kind of Recto. I don't know if that's like blocking distortion or something in there. Kind of like a square wave clippy style thing in there, but then it's got like a real Marshall kind of mid-range. You know what? This one's easy. CC boost, we get this. Kind of reminds me of the Winger Pull album tone on there. I think Reb was using a rectifier for some of that. What we can do with this one is maybe bring the bass down a little bit. It's very low end heavy like the Recto, but let's pump the mids up. What does this give me? And a lot of these amps with drive and overdrive controls on them, if you turn the drive up or down, that's kind of going to change the character, whereas the overdrive is a flat gain control. So if I bring this down, but I bring this up, it should be a little bit brighter. If I do it the other way, it's going to be a little bit smoother and darker. And it can kind of do the Recto thing. If you bring the bass up, the mids down, you bring this master volume down quite a lot. Give it the fizz. Now, I'm guessing you're not all sick of me playing Drop C Filth just yet, so let's hear the Energyball next. This is an Engel Fireball, I think. And this one, straight out of the gate, kind of has a bit of that like Swedish death metal HM2 into a boosted Marshall thing. See what I mean? What I want to do with this is put a metal zone in front of it. There's no HM2 model in here, but you know, why not? When in Rome, what is the metal zone? The metal M zone distortion. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Let's go level, distortion, treble, mid. We'll leave bass where it is. We get this. Now that might have been some of the nastiest, most disgusting guitar tone I've ever pulled on this channel, but yeah, if you know the HM2 EQ offsets, you could use a filter block or a parametric EQ as well. I forget what they are, but there is a website which has listed them on there. So that's the Energyball. That one's pretty fun. There's also the Severe, which is based on the Engel Savage. Let me do this. Let's go edit, reset current channel, just so I don't blow my ears off. But Severe 1, I think is the one with slightly more mid-range or something. Oh, I've gone to the wrong app. What have I done? So yeah, let's do number 1 and then number 2. That's ridiculous. What a monster. So that's another really good Engel model in there. And then the Uberschall. This one, at stock settings, is an absolute mess. But you can kind of hear a tone in there. So let's bring the drive down. And my understanding is the pot tapers on Bogners are very skewed towards having to turn them all the way up. So try this. Let's go treble and mid-range up around 8. Should start to sound a little bit better. I'm going to bring the bass down a little bit as well, down to around 3.5. Now to smooth it out, you could bring the presence down. I think the master's in a good place on this. And again, I just like the CC boost on everything. We can hear the grinder in a second, but with the CC. If you've heard the Ragdoll song Follow the Leader, I used the Uberschall on that one, so kind of similar vibe happening here. shimmer drive's pretty good on there as well. So yeah, can we explore some more high gain models? Why not? What else is in here? Cameron CCV2A, you hear a lot on the channel. Same with like the boogies. Maybe let's do a boogie that is not the Mark IV. Or actually, I'm not going to do one of the Mark models because I just do that all the time. Solo 100 lead though, let's just reset this channel on here. I think this sounds really, really good as a rock amp at stock settings. Warren DiMartini or George Lynch from the 80s in a box. So yeah, that Soldano model is pretty awesome. On my hot rod, I actually like to run the master at around 6 or 7, bit more bass, little less treble with a boost. You can see the pattern here. You've already figured it out. Let's just do the CC boost. It makes everything more better. Stratland now. I'm using the Austin Buddy approved Dumble SSS settings on here, where you take the SVT and you swap the tone stack for the Skyline tone stack, placing it in the mid location. You do some other subtle advanced parameter tweaks in there. You use it with this legacy cab, bit of compression, chorus. I've gone for the South Church reverb and some FET boost. And this is one of my favorite clean Strat tones ever right now. It's pretty amazing. Really nice. Let's check out some comps up here. The compressor block has been overhauled for firmware 18. Some of the types have automatic makeup gain on them. Some of them you can switch that on and off. Some of them, like the Dynamicomp, you can't. But this one's great for really squishy stuff. Let me just turn off this mega reverb and go a bit drier. So yeah, the Dynamicomp, you just crank the compression up and it kind of does that MXR Dynamicomp thing. Very squishy, lovely. The JFet Comp is awesome at stock settings and with the auto attack and release. That one is, like I said, really nice and fat. I said it's lovely, but it is really nice and fat. And if you stack two of them together, what do we want to do? Let's just do a third compressor. This isn't overkill at all. Let's go JFet Comp. And I mean, at stock settings, it's pretty cool. You get this. If I could play slide, I would play some little feet right now, but there are specific settings. I forget if you do like a really subtle thing and then an over-the-top thing with the compressors. I mean, it's easy with the auto attack and release, but let me do this. I'm trying to remember the settings. Let's do this. Let's just go for a really fast attack and a slower release here, and let's do the opposite. Let's go for like a slower attack somewhere around, let's do 10 milliseconds. Why not? And a faster release on there. I'm probably doing this totally wrong. But then again, there's no right or wrong with this stuff, as long as it sounds good. Let's hope it sounds good. You can try them the other way around as well. I actually like them with the auto attack and release on, so I might just go with that. You can hear you're actually just getting some distortion out of them at the moment as well, and if you kind of crank the compression on the second one and maybe go a little bit easier on the first one, bridge pickup. You get this wicked sustain and a little bit of distortion out of it. So that, maybe in front of a different drive, would be pretty rad. Let's do Tone of Kings is pretty good with the Strat style thing. Now let's have a listen to it. Might be fun with a fuzz face as well. I've cranked the drive up and the level down a little bit. You know, sure, it's not an authentic way to run a fuzz, but who cares? We can do whatever we want here. Another compressor that I'm really liking is the Studio Feedback compressor. I've just turned the ratio up to 4. Everything else is pretty much stock. Now that is ultra squishy on there, but I kind of like that. You know, if I was going for like an 80s rack tone style thing, this is the sort of comp I would want on there. So let's do this. Let's go stereo tri-chorus. Let's add a bunch of treble on this to make it really bright. What else do I want on here? Some pitch detune. I definitely want pitch detune. Let's go for that eventide. Let's do the 231 instead, and we'll go back to that really big reverb on there. So it gives us this, and on that like bridge and middle pickup combo, this is kind of magic. Check it out. That's pretty cool, right? I might actually go in and, still not bright enough, I'm gonna add some treble with the cab preamp, and let's use the tape, bit of saturation, a little bit of drive, high quality on there. What do we get out of this? I feel like there was a bunch of other fun stuff that was added that I'm just not going to cover in this. You can read the release notes as always with these, but I've had a lot of fun doing this video, and for anybody who tortured themselves by sitting through the entire thing, thank you so much. It goes without saying, if you want to support what I do, you can support the channel by clicking some links in the video description. If you want the presets and stuff like that, I think I've saved this one so I can put it up online, but my blocks library is available. You can join my Discord server and grab them there and hang out and, you know, post pictures of your cat and your food and all sorts of stuff like that and come and have a hang. Otherwise, hope you all have a fantastic evening. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.